The news for Saturday, May 11th, 2013, from voanews.com. Polls have closed in most areas in Pakistan in historic elections that will bring about a transition from one civilian administration to another civilian administration. Voters went to the polls Saturday to choose a new National Assembly and 4 provincial assemblies. Army and police were on standby to prevent any major attacks after weeks of election-related violence killed more than 100 people. Scattered incidents of violence killed at least 14 people on Saturday, but overall observers report voting went smoothly. Voters predicted record turnouts in Pakistan's national elections. Hundreds of people from wealthy to poor neighborhoods alike lined up outside their local polling station, determined to cast their votes. The elections mark the first time in the country's history that a civilian government has finished its term and handed over power to another civilian government via the ballot box. A top UN official says up to 3,000 African Union soldiers have been killed in Somalia over the past few years fighting the Islamist insurgency. UN Deputy Secretary General Jan Eliasson gave the death toll at a news conference Thursday at UN headquarters. Eliasson said Uganda and Burundi, which supplied most of the troops for the AU force, have paid a tremendous price. Over the past 2 years, AU troops have forced militant group Al-Shabaab out of the southern Somali towns and cities they once controlled. Installation of a silver spire atop New York's new One World Trade Center skyscraper has been completed. The spire is a symbolic rebirth of America's biggest city after terrorists destroyed Twin Towers at the same site in 2001. With the last work on the spire Friday, the new building reaches a height of 1,776 feet, or 541 meters. This height is a figure meant to recall the year the United States declared its independence from England in 1776. Crew members on the International Space Station have begun a spacewalk to repair an ammonia leak in the orbiting laboratory's power cooling system. American astronauts Chris Cassetti and Tom Marshberg ventured outside the space station Saturday to find the source of the leak and fix it. The space station's Canadian commander, Chris Hadfield, described the leak Friday as a serious situation, but one that has been stabilized by the 6-member crew. The U.S. Space Agency, NASA, said the crew was not in danger and that the station otherwise continues to operate normally. Turkey's interior minister said the death toll from the bombings in Rojali, near the country's border with Syria, has risen to 40, with about 100 more wounded. The interior minister says 2 bombs went off in the town just a few kilometers from a Syrian border crossing. Turkish media outlets had reported earlier that there were 4 blasts Saturday. Residents rushed to the scene of the explosions to help the many injured. The blast occurred Saturday around 2 p.m. local time in the center of town. The Interior Minister blamed the explosions on 2 car bombs that he said targeted a municipal building and post office. Several buildings were destroyed while others were set on fire. A stream of ambulances and cars rushed the injured to nearby hospitals. Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has appeared in a Cairo courtroom to once again face trial. Saturday's proceeding is a retrial. Mubarak was given a life sentence for the charges last year, but was granted retrial after appeals by both the prosecution and defense over procedural failings. Mubarak's retrial was scheduled to begin in April, but the judge at the time recused himself within minutes of the start of the proceedings.